My cat has great power. There's no doubt about it. And not only does my cat have great power, so do you. And I'm here to remind you of that. As a yogi, one who's been practicing yoga for a long time, it's interesting to contemplate the word prana, P-R-A-N-A, not piranha, not the razor-toothed South American fish. Those have a lot of power, but I'm talking prana, not piranha. Prana is the life force. Almost all ancient cultures have a name for this great animating power: chi, spirit, mojo, prana. And pranayam in yoga it means to control or utilize, manage or temper this great power that grows through us, that flows through us, if it does. So all of us have access to this great mystical power that is available to all of us in virtually unlimited supply to carry about all of our hopes, dreams, wishes, and destiny. That power is just sitting there waiting, dormant inside of most people. Some people seem to come into contact with a great deal of this power. Some people don't. It doesn't mean some people get more power than other people. God is no respecter of persons would be the spiritual phrase about that, meaning God does not select a certain subset of humans to grant a great deal of power and then restrict other people in the limited power group. God sends power out in all directions. This prana is available to all of us, and we all have it deep. And so the question is, where is it? And it's quite human of us to look outside of ourselves for power, especially when something goes wrong. Something goes wrong, we look for a friend, a family member, an agency, an institution, somebody, something outside of us to fix the problem. We're powerless, and we get on the phone, we start sending letters, we run around in chaos trying to find something outside of ourselves to fix the problem. And oftentimes, even though that's our first instinct, oftentimes not only does it not solve the problem, oftentimes it makes it worse. One of the ways it makes it worse is it trains us and habituates us to looking outside of ourselves for power. Deep down inside of you, the very person listening to this, is the greatest source of power in the entire universe. A mystical, magical power, if you will, that's to be found in one place and one place only, inside of your own consciousness. And it's the last place that we would think to look, because we're trained to look elsewhere. But now, having heard this, having been reminded of it, as I've been reminded of it by great teachers that remind me that every time that I'm powerless, every time that I'm struggling, it means that that point of struggle or powerlessness is an opportunity to gain real and true power by looking within and finding where it actually exists. So what I'm going to tell you today to conclude the talk on power, and I love this topic, I could talk about this for weeks on end, but for this week to conclude, what I'm going to say is, whatever we're struggling with, wherever we seem powerless, is actually the place where great power is available. It's the place where we're cutting off the power. It's the place that we're restricting it. Now, forgive me for this analogy if you're not in recovery, but of course, those of us in recovery were taught quite directly at the start that we're powerless over alcohol. And as a result of our recovery, do we become powerful over it? Are we able to drink with impunity? Are we able to drink like other people? No, we simply gain the great power to put it out of our consciousness. The problem is removed from us. And as long as we maintain a certain regimen of spiritual wisdom, activities, and behavior, that great power flows through us. Now, I'm going to use that analogy. Anywhere else there's a problem in your life, if you're discouraged, if you're depressed, if you feel unfulfilled, if you're lonely, if you're experiencing lack, if you have money problems, if you're having big health issues, that's precisely the point where your powerlessness is manifesting, and precisely the point where you could, instead of looking where power isn't, go where power is right at the center of your being, call upon it and ask it to go to work on the problem. And if there's one thing God loves, source power loves to do, it loves to dismantle, dissolve, and disintegrate problems forever. It loves doing that for us. That's why we're here, to encounter challenges and then invite this great power to work in and through ourselves and bring harmony, peace, love, and joy. So we don't need to be discouraged or fretful about our problems or limitations. We can actually rejoice and say, I am so glad that I'm having this problem, and I'm so glad that I'm remembering how to actually solve it, to go to the source where the power is and put it to use in the best way to find power where there was none before. Could there be a more glorious narrative to share with anyone else? Could there be a more glorious demonstration to make in this world than how to use power? Anyway, what do you think? We'll talk about it tomorrow. Be powerful.